Let me ask you something. Are you really truly in control of your own decisions? Or are you just following a script, one written by an invisible architect deep inside your mind? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the mental shortcuts and hidden biases that are shaping your reality every single day.
Okay, I want you to imagine this. It's World War II, you're an analyst. A bunch of your bombers just made it back from a dangerous mission. They are absolutely covered in bullet holes. But here's the thing, they made it back. Now, it's your job to figure out where to add extra armor. So you look at the planes and you see holes all over the wings, the tail, the main body. Your first instinct, your gut feeling, is to reinforce those spots, right? I mean, that's where they're getting hit. Makes sense. Just hold that thought. We're going to come back to it.
To solve that bomber riddle, and to really understand that invisible architect in your own mind, we first have to look at the machinery of thought itself. See, it turns out your brain isn't just one single operator calling the shots. It's more like a duo, with two very, very different personalities running the show.
This whole idea comes from the brilliant psychologist and Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. He proposed that our thinking is run by two totally different modes of operation. He called them, simply enough, System 1 and System 2. Think of them as the two lead actors in your mental show. They're supposed to work together, but sometimes they really don't.
So first up, meet System 1. This is the fast one. It's intuitive, it's automatic, it's emotional. It's the part of your brain that, without even trying, finishes the phrase bread and with butter. It's how you know instantly that your friend is upset just from a quick glance at their face. System 1 is basically our subconscious hero, handling thousands of little decisions a day on autopilot so we don't just get totally overwhelmed.
And then there's System 2. This is the slow one. It's deliberate, it's logical, it's analytical. This is the system you have to wake up when you're doing a tough math problem or trying to parallel park or carefully thinking through a huge life decision. But here's the catch. System 2 takes effort, it takes energy, and honestly, it's kind of lazy. It's more than happy to just sit back and let the fast-acting System 1 take the wheel whenever it can get away with it. So yeah, the difference is huge. You've got System 1, the hare, it's all about speed and gut feelings, and then you've got System 2, the tortoise, slow, conscious, and methodical. Now, we all like to believe that the logical tortoise is in charge, right? But the truth is, most of the time, that impulsive little hare is the one running the entire show.
And this isn't just some abstract psychological theory either. This stuff is grounded in actual neuroscience. The super-fast pattern recognition of System 1, that's linked to our powerful neocortex. And the slow, structured reasoning of System 2, that involves this complex dance between the hippocampus, our memory center, and the prefrontal cortex, which is like the CEO of our brain. These two systems are literally wired into our biology.
Okay, so here's the really crucial point. Because our brains prefer to use the fast, easy, low-effort System 1, we are all vulnerable to predictable errors in our thinking. And these aren't just random mistakes. No, they are systematic glitches, what we call cognitive biases. You can think of them as evolutionary loopholes that are hardwired right into our mental operating system.
All right, let's circle back to those bombers. Now that you know about the fast, impulsive System 1 and the slow, lazy System 2, has your answer changed? Does your gut, your System 1, still scream at you to put the armor where you see all the bullet holes?
Well, the correct answer, the one that a statistician named Abraham Wald figured out, is to add the armor where there are no bullet holes at all, specifically on the engines, the cockpit, and parts of the tail.
And what you've just seen is a perfect example of something called survivorship bias. See, the military's fast, System 1 thinking made a huge mistake. They were only looking at the data from the planes that survived. The bullet holes they were seeing were in the planes a plane could get hit and still manage to fly home. The planes that got hit in the engines or the cockpit, the spots that were perfectly clean on the returning bombers, well, those were the ones that never came back at all. The most important data was completely invisible.
This kind of mental glitch isn't just for dusty old history books, though. Let's bring it a lot closer to home. Think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed that the pain of losing, say, a $10 bill feels so much worse than the joy of finding $10? It's the same amount of money, objectively, but our emotional reaction, it's completely lopsided. What's up with that?
Well, that feeling has a name: loss aversion. It turns out our brains are wired to prioritize avoiding a loss way more than acquiring an equivalent gain. Psychologically speaking, the sting of losing something is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure you get from gaining the exact same thing. It probably helped our ancestors survive by making them cautious, but today it can make us way too risk-averse, leading to bad financial choices or just missing out on great opportunities.
So if you look at our emotional scale, it's just totally out of whack. The positive kick you get from gaining $10 is nice, for sure, but it's absolutely dwarfed by the awful feeling of losing that same $10. This simple little imbalance actually governs so much of our behavior, from how we invest in the stock market to whether we're willing to try something new.
So our brains avoid what's missing, and they absolutely hate to lose. But there's another glitch, and this one might be the most dangerous of all. See, once we form an opinion, our mind stops acting like an impartial scientist looking for the truth. Instead, it starts acting like a lawyer, building the best possible case for what it already believes to be true.
And this, my friends, is confirmation bias. You could call it the mother of all biases. It's our natural, automatic tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information that confirms what we already think. It makes us feel smart, it makes us feel consistent, but it also traps us in these intellectual echo chambers, making it incredibly hard to change our minds, even when we're staring at a mountain of evidence that says we're wrong.
And this thing works in 3 kinda sneaky stages. First, you do a biased search. You don't Google, "Are my beliefs correct?" You Google, "Proof that my opinion is right." Second, you have biased interpretation. Any evidence that's even a little bit ambiguous, you'll see it as totally supporting your side. And third, you have biased recall. You'll perfectly remember all the little facts that support your case, and you'll conveniently forget the ones that don't. It's a dangerous, self-reinforcing loop.
So we've unmasked the invisible architect. We've seen its glitches. And that leads to the really big question. What on earth can we do about it? How do we start to take back control?
The answer isn't to try and get rid of System 1. I mean, that's impossible, and frankly, it would be exhausting. The real key is to learn when to slow down. It's about knowing when to consciously hit the brakes and wake up your deliberate analytical System 2, especially when the stakes are high.
So here's a little checklist you can use. Before you make a big decision, just stop, take a breath, and ask yourself these questions. To fight survivorship bias, ask, what am I not seeing here? What's the invisible data? To fight loss aversion, ask, is my fear of losing making me ignore a really great potential gain? And to fight confirmation bias, and this is the hardest one, ask, have I honestly really tried to prove myself wrong? These questions literally force you to engage System 2 and override your faulty gut feelings.
Look, at the end of the day, you can't rebuild your brain, but you can learn the architect's blueprints. You can start to recognize its patterns and its predictable flaws. Just knowing how you're designed to think is the first, most powerful step toward thinking better. So, now that you know the architect, are you going to let it control you?